There it is. That sound can mean only one thing. It's time for the GB News People's Poll results, and they've revealed that 42% of people say the Queen's Lady-in-Waiting, Lady Susan Hussey, should return back to work, whilst only 24% of people say that she should not return to work. Now, these results have emerged since Lady Susan Hussey was sacked, or quit... Fine line, really, isn't it? Last month, after she asked black British charity boss Ngozi Fulani, otherwise known as Marlene Headley, where she was really from. We all remember that story. There was uproar at the time. There was outrage at the time. A lot of people at the time thought that Lady Susan Hussey was unfairly treated, and now we have the results to prove it. So joining me to pick through this is GB News' royal reporter. It's Cameron Walker. Cameron, 42% of the British public, which was a higher proportion than any other little bracket that we had there, think that she should be allowed to return to work if she wishes. I think a sign, maybe, that the palace was, dare I say, a little bit too quick to act.
Well, Lady Susan Hussey was a lady who was the Queen, the former Queen's Lady-in-Waiting for more than 60 years. She's also Prince William's godmother and still is. So clearly she's very, very close to the family, which is why it would have been a really hard decision for Buckingham Palace to, if they did indeed kind of encourage Lady Susan Hussey to resign. I think Lady Susan's reason for resigning was to stop the media onslaught that was happening following this palace reception, where Ngozi Fulani then said on Twitter what had happened to her and her experience.
And then did the media rounds.
Yeah, she even appeared on this channel.
She did, although interestingly not on this show, but yes.
Yes. But Ngozi Fulani, there was a meeting in December between Ngozi Fulani and Lady Susan Hussey where Lady Susan apologised for any distress caused. Buckingham Palace described the meeting as one of warmth and understanding. But no, you're right. The People's Poll, the people have spoken. GB News viewers have spoken. And they want her reinstated. They
do want her reinstated. Judith has been on. Thank you very much. I've been calling for the emails throughout on this because I remember when it all kicked off initially, so many of you were reaching out, getting in touch in that inbox, gbviews@gbnews.uk, saying, oh, this is a disgrace, this is out of order. And Judith has said, I can't imagine that Lady Susan would want to go back after what she says was that insult. And I think it's been brought to light as well, and certainly as Sister Space, which is the charity of Ngozi Fulani, is now, well, coming under scrutiny by people like the Charity Commission over maybe how they procured all of their funds and exactly how they spent them all. But we'll leave the Charity Commission to do their diligent work there. We would not want to end up in hot water with Marlene Headley, of course, or whatever name she chooses to use today. It is part of a wider context for the royal family. And another part of that poll as well showed that Prince Harry's net popularity has dropped, hasn't it, since his book?
Yes, it has, and it echoes the YouGov poll, which came out yesterday, which found that Prince Harry's popularity amongst the British people is at an all-time low. Yet again, it's pretty much the second week running that has happened. Prince Harry, in his book, describes the British people as credulous, and in other words, that means they will take anything the media says as facts, and perhaps gullible is another way of saying it, which probably has not gone down too well with the British public. Clearly, Prince Harry has a massive war against the British press at the moment. He sees that the British press treated him unfairly and were making up lies against him. Clearly, that's been disputed by many journalists who have been working on the beat for a good number of years. But it does show, I think, that the British public, according to this poll, seem pretty tired of Prince Harry's complaining, or what they see as complaining.
Exactly, and I was actually having a conversation with a friend of mine from Spiked Online, which is a good publication people should probably read every now and again when you're not on our GB News website, of course. And he made a really, really good point. It was Tom Slater who made a really good point. And he said, what you find with a lot of people who believe that they are a cut above everyone else is the reason why they don't like the tabloid press is because they don't like the people who read the tabloid. And that actually is most people. And indirectly, Prince Harry, I think, is demonstrating the disdain that he actually feels for most people. Gullible idiots, they read these rags, they are not intellectually, equipped enough to actually have the right views of this. And I actually think maybe he's exposing himself to be everything that he claims he's not, which is actually, frankly, out of touch with people and not a fan of people at all. He thinks maybe he is quite elitist and actually better than them. So not a great time for good old Prince Harry there. And Kate, I thought, issued a really interesting little comment, Cameron, which was, therapy doesn't work for everyone, she said. I don't know if she was maybe alluding to him there. But Kate and William, they're carrying on, aren't they? They're putting their shoulder to the wheel and just working normally.
Yeah, they very much are. I was with them in Liverpool yesterday for their engagements. They visited a hospital, as we mentioned yesterday. They were very much keeping calm and carrying on. They were ambushed by a couple of journalists at both engagements they went to, where they were asked, Prince William was asked, have you read the book, sir? And I think there was another heckle as well. The journalists were met with silence. So I think the palace's strategy is very much keeping calm, carrying on, and not drawing attention to it. And their popularity ratings, Will and Kate speak to that. They're very much above Harry and Meghan.
Indeed.